Many of you, as bits and pieces, might have heard about Sree Padmanabha Swamy Temple in Trivandrum, Kerala. As a native of Kerala myself, I'm here touch basing some facts about this mysterious temple. Hope you will get something out of my humble initiation of knowledge. Namaste. Before going into the facts and myths, please see this beautiful phenomenon which happens every year during equinox in Padmanabha Swamy Temple, wherein the sunset, while sunset, the five dwara, we call it as dwara means channel of the mandapam of Padmanabha Swamy Temple will have 5 minutes each. The sunset comes down and you can see that sun rays through that channel. It's a beautiful phenomenon and it has a lot of spiritual effect to it also. Okay. Coming to the history of the temple, no one knows the origin of this temple yet. But earliest we could trace the history is on somewhere about 8th century during Chera dynasty, Chera kingdom, right? In the 16th century, Raja of those times, Sri Marthandavarma, he renovated this temple, and what we see today is preserved from those time onwards. In 1947, after independence, Mr. Sardar Patel asked Thiruvananthapuram to join the Indian Union, and in fact, Mr. Sardar Patel has visited Trivandrum and met the Raja of those times in Trivandrum, Sri Chitra Tirunal Maharaj. Initially, there was a denial and stuff like that, but somehow he convinced. Those days, it was just very much needed that all these small Natu Rajyam, we used to call it. It's a local country or whatever you call it. Those days, the entire India was into, as you know, the multiple small countries, they call it as Natu Rajyam, right? So somehow he convinced Maharaja Sri Chitra Tirunal, and the deal was that he was ready to join the Indian Union provided the entire temple give for the Raja Kudumbam, the entire Raja family, and after his time, the lineage goes to his sons and whoever it is coming in those families. So the deal was made in that way, that the complete ownership for this temple goes to the entire Trivandrum Raja family. Okay, so once they signed the deal and Sardar Patel, he went back to Delhi. That was in 1947 itself. In 2007, a so-called advocate filed a lawsuit on behalf of so-called two devotees of the temple, claiming that the temple's funds were being mismanaged, etc., etc. At the time, a lower court of Kerala ordered the government to take over the temple and its asset and get it audited. Okay, that was way back in 2007. And in 2011, Marthandavarma, then Maharaj, filed an appeal against Kerala High Court's ruling against temple management to Kerala government. In this, Raja claimed the custody of temple as it was preserved by the royal family for generations. Luckily, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the royal family, upholding their rights to manage and maintain the temple. So, in between, that is in 2007 and 2011, during those time, Kerala was ruled by communist government. Still it is. Since they had the favorable, hearing or court decision, lower court decisions from Kerala High Court, in 2007, between 2007 and 2011, they have decided to explore the temple since they have the power. Even every Malayali, while growing up, including myself, hears stories about this temple and the treasures it has and stuff like that. Even we used to hear those stories from our grandmothers and all. It was an open secret, right? So by the Kerala government before the Supreme Court's stay, that was in 2011. So they had ample number of years to explore, right? So what the Kerala governments decided to, they just decided to go and digging into all this kind of a treasures, right? So they decided to go to open 5 aras, we call it as. Ara is nothing but a chamber inside the temple, right? There are 5 aras: A, B, C, D, and E, right? They call that as A, B, C, D, E. Okay, it's just 5 aras. It represents 5 different things. That's on the spiritual level. I'm not going into it. So out of this 5 aras, C, D, and E are always open by the temple management since from the very beginning, right? They keep all these artifacts, their materials which they use for various festivals, on an yearly basis. I think they will do some kind of a 3 or 4 major festivals, if I'm not wrong, in this temple. And they used to keep puja homam items in this C, D, and E chambers, and various garments, lamps, etc., right? So C, D, E were very regular, but the government officials, after seeing all this C, D, E, decided to go for A and B, right? Initially, the royal family objected for this along with the devotees, but forcefully they decided to go, and so they can open the chamber, A chamber first, and then go ahead with the B chamber. That was the plan, right? So they opened the A chamber with great difficulty. There was a lot of obstacles and stuff like that. Even there are people who died, who work for opening and all. So somehow they managed to open that A chamber first. Once they opened the chamber, it was a shock of their life and thereby the entire world. The government officials, what they found is like it's like mountain of gold. It says that literally that they say is like it's a mountain of gold. you know Earlier it was like they were just packed in wooden boxes and all. Since it is not open for quite a long time, it all become like a mountain of gold, you know diamonds and all these precious metals, right? And then sacks of gold coins. And then there is 18 feet length gold chain, which in olden times, in those days, it is believed to be made as an alankaram for Padmanabha Swamy. And then there was golden simhasanas to a height of say about 8 feet. Remember, our Indians, our average height is somewhere about 5'8" to 6 feet, right? This is 8 plus. So golden simhasanas, then golden domes, expensive old gems, coins of Rome, Portugal, Persia, Napoleon time, coins, then Chera kingdom, Chola kingdom, Pandya kingdom, all those coins were there. And so these are the things which they found. And also adding to that, while they entered the era, it led to an underground era in which they found 800 kgs of treasures. Only from that particular era, 800 kgs of treasures. This includes all gold, diamonds, and precious stones. So this is under that era, and there was a huge Mahavishnu idol with full of gold, thick gold, and precious stones. Okay, this is all in record. It is in government papers they have mentioned, right? So these are the treasures which they found from A era. Now they wanted to move to the B era, the final chamber, which the Rajakudumbam, the royal family, objected from the very beginning. They were okay, losing the treasures and all these things, but they were not okay opening the B era. So everybody, including all the government officials and all the entire communist government, were very curious on what is there in B era. So they decided to go ahead with that, right? And they just had then order kind of a thing and all these things. They decided to, dates and all these things. Initially, they have even entered. There is something called as Nagas. It's been believed that Nagas and Ugra Narasimha Swamy is protecting that particular door, right? So they have decided a date initially, and they have entered. And it says there is a unique locking system and stuff like that, where it's not an ordinary lock kind of a thing. But somehow they couldn't go on that particular day to open that B era. The person who filed the case is mysteriously died on that time, and there was a lot of obstacles and stuff like that happened, and they aborted that day of exploring into B era, right? This is almost near to, I think, 2011, those days. Yeah. So this person who filed the case to the court died mysteriously, and surprisingly, so after his death and after these obstacles from the government officials, they had a small break for their next gathering and next date of fixing how to open this B era. Meanwhile, the Rajakudumbam, the royal family, got a stay from Supreme Court on saying it is the tradition of the lineage and has serious complications for the future generations of royal kingdom. And Supreme Court has agreed to it, and they somehow managed to get a stay in the order for further any execution from the Kerala government. So while having these 4 eras out of the 5 total, while having these 4 eras explored before the stay order from the Supreme Court, they could manage to get out of what all is was there in uh, A, C, D, and E, right? So it took about 12 days to bring out the complete treasure out of all these eras. So just imagine how massive it was. And they just audited each and everything which uh, they took out of these eras. And it is been said that it is like 4 lakhs crores in Indian rupees in antique value. There are few coins and stuff like that which is like, you cannot put a price tag on it. It is like beyond antique, I would say. So by considering all those other things like golds, diamonds, and all these things, so it is somewhere about, I would say, in US, this 4 lakhs crore is like 4,000 into 10 million value. That is 40 billion value. Treasures have gone out from that chamber. That is only in 4 chambers. While being the while B is not yet explored, and they have a stay from the Supreme Court not to open that. Okay. Now, coming to the spiritual aspects of Sree Padmanabha Swamy Temple, the origin date back to Treta Yuga. If it is been clearly mentioned in our scriptures. Treta Yuga, I would say it's very old, very very old. Uh, there it is mentioned as a divine idol of Lord Vishnu in a reclining form uh, of Padmanabha was discovered in the forest by a sage called Divakara Muni. Okay. So according to the myth, Padmanabha Swamy Temple, if you just calculate that time of Treta Yuga, it is at least 20,000 years old. Can you imagine? 20,000 years old. So it has been also believed by the royal family that the B era has the samadhi of the great sage Agastya Muni. Podcast before about the Hindu connection to South America and its connection to Agastya Muni with South America, Mexico, etc., etc. Right. So maybe the B era or chamber could be a portal between different parts of the world where we don't know the technology, right? Everywhere in the Puranas, you see people traveling to, other continents, like Boger going to China. Uh, you know, they were like so cool. They were like so. It was so easy for them. It was just normal as it is those days. But we don't know the technology which they were using. That's what it is. Boger going to China, then Murugan to the entire Lemurian civilization. Agastya Muni is all over South and North America. Then I did connect it, if you remember, I think that is in Malayalam language. There was a Shasta Mountains in California. Shasta, we have a god called Shasta. They are in Kerala, right? So how come this Shasta Mountains got name of our Dharma Shasta, etc., etc. So it is just that we are unaware about the technology they have used, how they traveled. You know, it may be a time travel by entering into a portal. You know, and you never know. Maybe one of that portal would be the B era, the chambers. Think about it, guys. Thanks for listening. Namaste.